pressure, but he did, and he lasted. I think he lasted about a week and a half.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the West Ham Network. And it's Anton here, bringing you a little bit of a opinion piece and kind of dissecting a little bit of what Declan Rice said after the game. Because have West Ham turned a corner, or are we smoking something a bit crazy? Declan Rice has made a big, bold statement that West Ham's season's predictions amid of our relegation struggles, and he is predicting that we will have a positive outcome come the end of the season. Now, people could say we are losing the plot here, and I suppose it's up to us to make that judgment and see if West Ham have turned a corner. You know, in the last 3 games, we have essentially picked up 6 points, 6 points that we certainly didn't think we would have had this time 3 games ago. Let's have a look at the kind of more recent stats from us. We're currently 14th. Look at our last 5 games results. We lost 1. We've lost 2 out of the 5, but we lost, drew 1, lost 1. There is inconsistency there, but if you look at the 5 before that, there was certainly not 7 points from the last 5 games. We are on 30 points for the season with a goal difference of -12 as well. Look at the next 6 Premier League games. Arsenal at home, it's huge. It's a huge game in the whole defining point of the season, not just for the relegation battle, but also for the championship, for Arsenal to keep the pressure on by staying ahead in the Premier League against Manchester City. We've got Bournemouth away. What a game that is. You know, Bournemouth picking up a little bit of form recently as well, joint on points with West Ham. That becomes another season-defining game for us. Liverpool at home, Palace away, Man City, Man United. Huge, huge games coming our way. We're playing 4 of the top 6 and 2 of the relegation contenders as well. There's no mid-table when it comes to West Ham. Let's take a look at it before we get into the show predominantly, but this is the table as it stands. It's still so tight, and it's easily can be getting carried away as West Ham fans. But I suppose there's an element of what Declan Rice actually had to say which makes it really interesting. So that's why I think what I want to do is actually play you what Declan Rice actually said post-match after the game, and we'll dissect it a little bit more once you've heard his speech.
Yeah, I think today was so important that we bounced back from that on Wednesday night. Not only for us as players, obviously the manager, but wanted to do it for the fans today. You know, because on Wednesday night, like I spoke about in the interview after, I felt like we'd let the club down in a way where getting beat 5-1 like that at home wasn't good enough. But today, to show the desire, the heart to bounce back, we didn't play our best. That's being honest. But main thing is at this stage of the season, 3 points, and to get that for them travelling fans today. So I think you see me at the end there, the smile on my face. I'm buzzed up.
I know that roar you got after the final whistle was probably one of the loudest we've heard on the road all season. It's been a lot of travel for them this year. So, you know, in Europe we've had some great results, but away from home in the league, they deserve that, don't they?
Oh, 100%. They're the best. I've always said it. Obviously, when things get tough, they voice their opinions, and you have to take it on the chin. But on the other hand, for me, when they're at it, they're the best in the world. I love playing in front of them when they cheer your name, cheer the team. Special nights like we had last year, special away day like we had today. You know, it's a Saturday afternoon with 3 points. But you don't get much better than that. I'm sure they're all going to go home very happy. And me and all the lads, we just said in there then to bounce back like that, especially to do it for them as well. Obviously, there's been a lot of negativity around us this season. So to do that today was so good.
I'm going to bring myself in here again, you know, whilst we're listening to those comments. I mean, I think essentially what we have to take from what Declan Rice is saying is that it's a tactical decision that was made. It was getting the job done. He talks about this in a second in the last few minutes when we go into this about what he thinks changed. But he does make the bold statement that, you know, it came at the right time. And we are in the midst of a relegation battle. But Rice has been a key part of our side. He was handed the captain's armband. He's played 29 games in all fixtures for us in the Premier League. He's chipped in with 2 goals and 2 assists in this season. And when, asked if it was going to be, could we still have a great season, being in the quarterfinals of Europa Conference League and being able to try and define yourself by being a Premier League team as early as you possibly can are going to be defining moments for us. The question I ask you as fans that are watching right now, what is acceptable? I think when we've gone through such a bad season, I really want us to obviously go ahead and win a cup, but I really want us to be safe quickly. That's my key element. I don't want to ride out this storm too quickly. That's what makes these next 6 games so vital for us. If you can walk away with 9 points out of those next 6 games, wow, like you are probably safe, and you can then put to bed this dire season that we've witnessed and concentrate and go on and winning a cup. And if you can start, getting the result on Thursday, getting the result against Arsenal, and get ourselves through to the semi-final, get something at Bournemouth, then you're 6 points ahead of the game. I know I've got a big ask here against Arsenal. I get that, but we have to start somewhere. We do have to start somewhere. If we rewind slightly back to the Newcastle game, if we hadn't got beat in the manner we did, 5-1, we may be looking at this situation a little bit better. I am not saying we've played fantastic football. I have not expected West Ham to play fantastic football because we certainly haven't been playing great football at all. We know what West Ham's going to turn up from the first moment they kick the ball on that kickoff moment. But David Moyes does tactically change it. He did for the Fulham game. It was remnant of the Southampton game. We rode our luck, but we did defend. It was colossal defending. It was, hand out knighthoods to Zuma and Ogbonna for the amount of clearances and interceptions they did. It was a phenomenal performance defensively by West Ham, and as Declan Rice will go on to say, which we'll go and listen to now, about Fabianski and how season-defining moment that was as well. I'll continue with this interview.
Talking about the game, defensively, it was everything that it wasn't on Wednesday, wasn't it? We were so resilient. There was no mistakes, nothing loose. I mean, obviously, we wanted, as you say, we wanted to play better with the ball, but without it, you could not have done more.
Yeah, man to man today, I can't fault anyone. He obviously made a lot of changes, and fair play to the boys that have come in at this crucial stage. Because it's not easy when you're not playing. So to come in and put a performance in like that, it shows how together we are. Shows how much we want to do it for the club, for ourselves, for the manager. And yeah, just like you said, defensively today, I think that's probably the best we've been in terms of clearances, heading the ball, regrouping, cutbacks, winning things, free kicks. It's just relentless today. And I feel like if Fulham were out there now, they'd probably still be trying to score. So that's not being rude. That's just a credit to our defence today. And of course, the main man in goal, Lucas, who's got that strong hand to that chance. That's a season-defining moment for us. That.
And talking about the chances they didn't have, we actually had probably the 4 best chances in the game. We could have won more comfortably with Leno's made a couple of good saves, and not more comfortable. We could have been a wider winning margin.
Most definitely, I think personally that's when we're at our best. When we catch teams on the counter attack. That's what we've been built off since the gaffers come in last 2 seasons. Through this year, which obviously tried to change our ways by playing a bit more possession-based football. And it's had its positives, but it's also had its negatives. But I think today you see a vintage West Ham performance where, on the counter attack it was devastating, but it's about adding that final bit of putting it in the back of the net. And look, between now and the end of the season, I've always said it. There's teams around us who won today. There's teams around us who lost. I said it from after the Spurs game. We can only worry about ourselves, and I think a couple more wins and we'll be just fine.
If you'd offered us 6 points last weekend before the game last Saturday, I think we'd have taken it, wouldn't we?
I would have snapped your hand off. Yeah. I think what would that be? The first time this season we took 6 points out of 3 games. So that's a massive step, especially in the position we're in. Shows the character, the desire. I'm really trying to push it on. So all the older lads, experienced lads, we're giving it everything we got. This club don't deserve to be where we are, and we are because we haven't been ultimately as good as we was last season on the pitch, and now we're trying to dig ourselves out of that. But a massive week, 3 games done, and now we go on to a massive quarterfinal in Ghent. So there's a lot of positives to head into the new week.
Well done, mate.
Thank you.
So, fair play. I can't take away anything he said there, really. I think what he really brings to the attention is the fact that the old guard, resort to type. That's what we noticed when it came to David Moyes. David Moyes went back to the old boys, asked for them to go and do a job. They turned up and they done a job. It wasn't the most dominant performance, obviously not, because it was more dominant by Fulham, but backs against the wall. When the ask was there, we got the 3 points, and that's really where we're at. We're at the defining moment of the season. We're at the results end of the season. The thing, you listen to Declan Rice there, you see some of the players, you see some of the reaction, you hear the stories kicking about maybe some players getting pissed off. People weren't happy about the choices that were made for the team selection come that game. But essentially, it is a results game and the job was done. I am by no means a David Moyes fan anymore. David Moyes has given us, as fans, very, very good memories in the last couple of years. But I definitely think the time has come to have that gentleman's agreement come the summer and move on. He's not going anywhere between now and the end of the season. So we need to back this side all the way to the end. We need to back this side all the way to the end to make sure we can get Premier League survival as quickly as we possibly can, which can be done. We could go and shock Arsenal. And we, typical West Ham, you go and shock Arsenal and you don't do anything against Bournemouth. That is extremely typical of West Ham. But over the next 2 games, if we could walk away with 3 or 4 points minimum, like 3 points minimum, 4 points would be a Brucey bonus. 6 points would be like winning the lottery. Like, you can't help but think then you are pushing yourself out of trouble. I don't want to get carried away. I certainly don't, but I swear to God, if you ask yourself 3 games ago, how many points would you have taken from Southampton, Fulham and Newcastle? Probably most of us would have said 6 points minimum. We've done that. It hasn't been the football, the games, the style of play we wanted. We're still not scoring flamboyant amount of goals. We're not proactive in that approach. It always seems to be, let's just score something and defend that. But that's essentially what potentially saves teams. You could go out and do sometimes what Southampton are doing, which is trying to fight, getting a result against Tottenham, getting a result against Chelsea, getting a result against Manchester United. But look where they are. We've now found ourselves 8 points ahead of Southampton in the Premier League. So I suppose it's a question to ask ourselves is, what kind of football, 7 points ahead, what kind of football do we want? Right now, we don't probably necessarily need to be playing the style of football that maybe Southampton are, which is going at games, trying to do something, because look what's happening to them right now. I don't know. I'm very conflicted with all of my thoughts when it comes to West Ham. It's very, very tough to get my head around what is going on and what I think is the right decision to do. Essentially, we just need to make sure that we progress up this fucking league, man, and stay safe in the Premier League, and that is down to Moyes, his tactics, because it is going to be down to Moyes and his tactics, because if it's not down to Moyes and his tactics, then we're probably going to go and play this flamboyant style, or try and play this flamboyant style, which is going to be too risky. And, we didn't do that against Newcastle, but that is probably what you expect from a team in our position right now. Look at 3 games and try and get 6. I know it's not the West Ham we want. I know it's not the football we want. I know we want points and push our way up the league, but we've been struggling with this transition this year. So come May, come June, fingers crossed we're safe. Fingers crossed we've got a title under our belt, and then we can progress on for the new season. We've got transitions coming, many a force. But have West Ham turned the corner? There is your question. Do I believe West Ham have turned the corner? I don't know, is the simple answer to a very hard question. I really don't know. 6 points from the last 3. If you'd asked me that a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago, I'd have been like, snap your hand off it. The 5-1 manner, the way we got defeated, is the thing that kind of just brings that, standard down. But vital we move into Ghent, get something against Ghent, and then go into the Arsenal game fighting at home, proving to the fan base we can do a job against the top-notch team. And I think if we can't afford to be so submissive, especially at home, like we were against Fulham. You can't do that. You cannot do that, because you get punished from teams like Arsenal. The difference is between Arsenal and Fulham is they have people who can put the ball in the back of the net, and Fulham don't. So we cannot afford to do that. Anyway, short, sweet, straight to the point. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I don't know if you did. Let me know. Put it in the comments, and we'll get back to you for that as well. Join us for the Hammers headlines later on. And of course, come on, you irons.